Sorry about that. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thorsten Görges with SLI Chemicals, and I would like to introduce you to the new raw material, Agenagel Clear. Agenagel Clear is a potato starch-based thickener and could potentially replace acrylates and carbomers in hair and beard gels. At the beginning of my presentation, I would like to introduce you to my agenda. I would like to briefly introduce you to SLI Chemicals and illustrate our application and development laboratory, tell you more about the group structure of Agrana, which produces Agenagel, tell you a little more about their sustainability and climate strategies, and then move on to talk about Agrana Stärke GmbH, which is the manufacturer of Agenagel Clear. Next, I would like to tell you more about the fields of application of starches, explain our cosmetics portfolio, and the key focus of my presentation is going to be Agenagel Clear. I'm going to show you some pictures as well, give you the framework formulations, and at the end of my presentation, I'm going to summarize our findings, and I will be more than happy to take your questions. SLI Chemicals was founded in 1997. We're a distribution and trade company based in Frankfurt, Germany. We have a total of 16 staff, and last year our sales amounted to 19 million euros. Our business philosophy is based on long year and trusted partnerships with suppliers in Germany, Europe, Israel, Asia, and Latin America. The key focus of our business is raw materials and solutions for industries including cosmetics, cleaning and cleansing, pet food, food and supplements. Our key focus with our ingredients is natural and organic certified sourcing. Our success is based on the in-depth expertise and long-term experience of our employees. Our company has several certifications, 9001, 1401. We have completed the feed registration, which is required for pet food or animal feed in general. In addition, we have organic certification in accordance with the EU standard A34/2007, which is the classic organic certificate, and we're a member of RSPO. The core activities in personal and home care are Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I mentioned that before briefly that we run our own application and development lab at Frankfurt, where we develop framework formulations in order to be able to provide dosing and application advice for our ingredients, and, which is very important, in order to be able to support others based on our experience, our in-depth research, and not just based on what is available in literature. And to be able to produce independent synergies of existing products of well-established suppliers, but also new suppliers. And in addition, of course, in order to provide advice to our clients when it comes to using the ingredients in development and production. So we always call that expanded product services. And our laboratory is also used for our internal staff training. The key priority of all that is to offer an important tool to our clients so that they can reliably develop innovative personal and home care products ready for the market. So let me tell you a little more about Agrana. Agrana is an AG based in Austria. The company is a group responsible for finishing agricultural raw materials, especially for the processing industries. We act as suppliers for local producers and large international corporations, especially in the food processing industry. One exception is the entire field of sugar. So we have our own brand called Wiener Zucker, which is a product line sold to end consumers. Agrana is split up in 3 segments. The first one is fruit preparations, where they are the global leader in fruit preparations, especially used for the yogurt processing industry. They are a specialist for a multitude of different starches, and last but not least, they are a leading manufacturer of sugar. Agrana has approximately 9,000 employees all across the world, a total of 55 production sites, and their sales last year amounted to 2.9 billion euros. Thanks to processing a multitude of regrowable raw materials, it's very important for Agrana to have a climate strategy and a sustainability concept. Since 2014, Agrana has been a member of the Sustainable Agriculture Initiative platform, which is an initiative which was founded by stakeholders in the food industry under the leadership of Danone, Nestle, and Unilever. This is a platform developing principles and practices of sustainable agriculture. In addition, Agrana Stärke works with Austrian contract suppliers for potatoes and specialty corn, and they work together into what is known as farm management groups. In 2017, those 2 groups were subject to an external audit, and 2020 and 2021, they ran the re-verification audits, and they all reached the silver status. Here it says 2020, 2021. The reason for that is that Agrana doesn't follow a calendar business year, but their business year ends by the end of February of each calendar year. So you're always going to see 2 years mentioned when we talk about certification, for example. Agrana harnesses approximately 100% of the raw materials used and uses low-emission technologies. What is especially important is their interval plan. They're planning with a reduction of 25% of their emissions by 2025-2026, which equals approximately 928,000 tons of carbon dioxide. In addition, they're planning to switch their own production to renewable energies by 2040. So, if you'd like to get more information about sustainability or the Agrana climate strategy, please just approach us and we can provide further information. As I told you earlier, Agrana is split up in 3 segments: fruit preparation, starches, and sugar. I would now like to elaborate a little more on the starches. So the company responsible for that is called Agrana Stärke GmbH, which runs 5 starch plants. They have approximately 1,200 employees, and their sales amounted to approximately 1 billion last year. In Austria, they run a potato starch plant in Gmünd, a corn starch plant in Aschach, and a bioethanol and wheat starch plant in Pischelsdorf. They focus on specialty products that are highly refined, and they offer innovative and customer-oriented products, and they offer application counseling as well. In addition, they assume a leading position with organic starches and GMO-free starches. Something I would like to add is that in the Federal Republic of Austria, they have the strictest EU guidelines with regard to the use of GMO in agriculture and the production of raw materials. So actually, they have stricter guidelines than the EU guideline. I've talked about starches quite a bit already. Starches are used in very different fields, for example, as an ingredient in foods, in infant formula, but also in cosmetic products and pharmaceutical products, but also for technical applications, including especially the field of paper processing and finishing. Starches are also used in animal feed, and they are also an integral component when producing bioethanol. Agrana Stärke GmbH offers a wide portfolio of sustainable starch-based cosmetic raw materials, including corn, tapioca, rice, barley, potato, etc. And the starches, what are starches? Starches are natural reserve carbohydrates of plants which can be linked via a certain glucose component. So the manufacturing process is purely physical, basically. And those starches consist of monomers, the glucose. The monomers are then linked together to form polysaccharides, which are polymers, sugars. So if they're long chain and straight, we call it amylose starch, and if they're branched, we call it amylopectin starch. The Agrana Cosmetics portfolio includes a large number of different starches, both for conventional and organic cosmetic usage scenarios. So the first point I have here for you is boiling resistant starches. Boiling resistant starches are starches that can be stirred into the cosmetic formulation at temperatures as high as 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. So actually you don't have any unwanted properties, but when used at high temperatures, they don't offer any thickening properties. We have lipophilic starches, native starches, and the instant starches, which include starches that are swellable and soluble in cold water, which also offer their thickening properties in cold water. We also have starches that need to be cooked up in hot water, which will only unleash their thickening properties when they reach higher temperatures. Starches for exfoliations is a niche product. We also offer hydrolyzed starches, and the portfolio is rounded off by starches that are used for dry shampoos. Dry shampoos are often sold in aerosol cans, where you also need a propelling agent, but there are also dry shampoos that can be used without a propelling agent. The starches used in dry shampoos are either colored or uncolored. Here on the left-hand side, you can see a brief summary of what I just said. We have boiling resistant starches, we have dry shampoos, but I would like you to focus a little more on the box here highlighted in yellow. These are these so-called instant starches. Agrana offers 4 different qualities based on corn, potato, and rice starches. And this is the latest quality of starch that we recently added to our portfolio, Agena Gel Clear, that I would like to introduce you to in the following. Agena Gel Clear is a potato starch-based thickener for semi-transparent applications. The starch used to produce Agena Gel Clear is 100% sourced in Europe, and while it's a chemically modified starch, it shows good biodegradability. The INCI name is hydroxypropyl starch phosphate. The raw material basis is, as I just told you, potato starch in accordance with ISO 16128. It's a derived natural ingredient. It's biodegradable. The reference of OECD, you can find it up here on the slide. And as I told you, the origin of the starch is Europe. Let me give you some more important facts and figures about Agena Gel Clear. Sure, it's soluble in cold water, it's swellable in cold water, and the thickening properties of Agena Gel Clear can also be achieved in hot water uses. So when you decide to use Agena Gel Clear and you have both hot water and cold water applications, Agena Gel Clear is suitable for both. You don't have to go for 2 different qualities of starches, but you can simply use Agena Gel Clear for both fields of application. The pH range of the solution amounts to approximately 7. Something I would like to bring to your attention is the total play count here, which amounts to a maximum of 200 per gram, which is a fairly low value for starches in general. And something I would like to highlight is that the product is only treated with heat and still has this low total play count. We don't radiate the product. When it comes to processing or using Agena Gel Clear in a product, it's always better to have some predispersion of Agena Gel Clear in oil or glycerin. And for the dispersion, you can also use 86.5%. materials. If you don't have the option to do that, seeing as potato starch has very fine granules, it's very important that you directly stir it in small portion sizes in order to ensure a homogeneous distribution and avoid the forming of clumps. Aganogel Clear is compatible with all standard cosmetics raw materials, but it's subject to salinity stress, which I will illustrate on the next slide. So, the photo that you can see here, where Aganogel is stirred in with 5%. So for a starch, this is a very high degree of transparency. So if you added it into clear water or ethanol and you put that side by side, you would say it's a semi-transparent solution. But let me rephrase that. For starches, I definitely want to highlight that this is a very high degree of transparency, and this is why Agrana, the manufacturer, decided to use Aganogel and call it Aganogel Clear. It shows excellent thickening properties and at the same time an incredibly high degree of transparency. It's a white powder with large granules. The water content is fairly low, a maximum of 10%. And you can see the diagram here at the bottom of the slide, which illustrates the viscosity by concentration. The orange-yellow line here is cornstarch, which acts as our benchmark here. Aganogel Clear shows good biodegradability, which makes it a good alternative for synthetic thickening agents. Tenside compatibility is very good, but it shows salinity stress, so it's better to use the raw material in salt-free, for example, shampoos that are gentle on the skin or semi-transparent hair gels, for example. I have two more diagrams for you here, where you see viscosity by pH value, and what we have found is that the best thickening effect of Aganogel Clear is with pH values between 5.5 and 7.5. The diagram at the bottom shows the viscosity and the reduction of viscosity in the presence of salt. So the presence of salt in a formulation will reduce the thickening properties of Aganogel Clear. I pointed out that the viscosity is best in a pH range of between 5.5 and 7.5. Tenside compatibility is excellent too, but I would like to point out to you, when you use tensides in your formulation, some tensides are naturally stabilized by using salt, and you may think that you don't have any added salts in your formulation, but still don't get the thickening properties that you might want. So, seeing as certain tensides are stabilized by salt, you will have a certain degree of salt present in your formulation, which will in turn reduce the viscosity. Aganogel Clear is also well compatible with ethanol, and some initial studies have shown that you can also achieve good film formation. What you can see here is a picture of a gel where Aganogel Clear was used, and the next photos show a 5% solution. And you can see that Aganogel Clear is nicely transparent. And here the usage concentration is slightly higher. And I made a conscious decision of picking that photo for the presentation. It's a corn starch that also has the same name, hydroxypropyl starch phosphate. And you see the classic white opaque effect that you would normally get when you actually stir in starch. The concentration is slightly higher, but I actually picked that photo for you to just remind you of how opaque formulations with starches can get. Let me tell you a little more about packaging and transportation. Agena Gel Clear is packed in multi-layer paper bags of 25 kilos each. You get a total of 750 kilos per one-way pallet. The minimum use time is 60 months. It's exempt from REACH because it's a natural polymer. The minimum order quantity is 25 kilos and it's no hazardous good. But something I would like to point out to you is when you work with starches, not just with Agena Gel Clear, but starches in general, not just Agrana starches, but that's true for all starches, is when you stir in starches and use starches in your formulations with certain air concentrations, you may get some spark creation, it may get a dust explosion. So actually you need to have everything well grounded during transportation and during production. For security or safety reasons, I would like you to remember that. That's not just a specific problem of Agrana starches, that's true for each and any starch that you may want to use in cosmetics products. Okay, let me talk a little more about frame formulations. We developed certain framework formulations together with Agrana. Agena Gel Clear used at 7%. There's a second starch, Agenabond 2219, which is a hydrolyzed cornstarch. So why have we been using two different types of starches? For example, if you have acrylates or copolymers, you have the option of do a lattice structure, a comb structure with the acrylates, or bottom and end has hydrophilic or lipophilic properties. So you can modify a lot. And theoretically, you could do the exact same thing with the starches, but then you lose the biodegradability. And for that reason, we at Agrana have chosen to bring in several different types of starch in a formulation to produce desired effects respectively. Agenabond, for example, is good for core tension, so that you can stabilize certain components of your formulation, while Agena Gel Clear brings in thickening properties. We also have a mousse foam that has different starches that help stabilize the foam. The next formulation is a shower gel. The product was used at 4.5% here, and with the formulation up here on the slides, in the first phase it's used with hot water. So what I said earlier, Agena Gel Clear can be used both in hot and in cold water processes. The third and last formulation I would like to show you is an OW lotion, and the product is used at a concentration of 4%. You can also visit us at our booth, where you can also see the framework formulations. You can test them, you can see for yourself what it would look like. So let me recap. Agena Gel Clear is a new potato starch-based thickening agent produced by Agrana Stärke GmbH. 100% of the starches is from Europe. The INCI name is hydroxypropyl starch phosphate. The product can be used in conventional cosmetic products. And if you're looking for formulations for Cosmos certified or organic applications, the product won't be useful. The reason is that Renatru and Cosmos don't allow hydroxypropyl as per their statutes. So for organic and for natural cosmetics, the product is unfortunately not suitable. So the application is only relevant for conventional cosmetic products. It's classified as a derived natural ingredient. It offers good biodegradability. For natural thickening agents, it offers high transparency. And from an economic point of view, it's very important that it offers good thickening properties with only a very small amount used. Potential applications would be hair applications, hair gels, beard gels, shampoos, etc. But of course also skincare products like creams, lotions, cleansing gels, for example. So, I'm happy to take your questions. Something I would like to point out to you is that we have a booth at the trade show. You can find us in Hall 2 at booth B14. And the team of SLI Chemicals will be happy to take your questions there. Mr. Wiemer, the head of our laboratory, is also present at the booth. So if you have any specific question about using the starch in your formulation, he is the expert and can give you all the tips and tricks that you might need. I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and I would also like to thank Agrana for providing the information for today's presentation, and I would be happy to take your questions.
Dankeschön.
Thank you very much.